think we're ready to start, or?
Yeah, let's go for it.
Then let's start. Okay. Hello and welcome, everybody. Thanks a lot for joining our today's webinar of Usersnap, and it's called Feature Request Forms and Prioritization 101. And yeah, before we start, we want to ask you something. So who of you is getting enough feature requests from your users who are using your software products or your apps, your digital products? That would be interesting. And maybe you can share that with us in the chat, and we can later on figure out who is the pro here and who wants to learn something, and maybe we can have a discussion and yeah, learn more from you. But first, I want to introduce my colleague, Ashley. Ashley, hello.
Yeah, hi Klaus, and hi everyone. So I'm Ashley. I'm product marketing manager at Usersnap. What I do is a lot of market research with SaaS companies and product managers, digital product managers, to see what are their challenges and needs in building a successful product, and then connecting those values and those solutions with Usersnap. And what about you, Klaus?
Yeah, so my name is Klaus M. Schremser, and I'm one of the co-founders of Usersnap and also head of growth. And yeah, this is why I'm very interested in what comes in for feature requests that are coming in for product and where we should, in which direction we should build our product. But let's go into the first slide here.
Yes, so our product, Usersnap. For those who don't know yet, Usersnap is a customer feedback software designed for SaaS companies and digital product marketing, digital product managers to quickly get customer insights such as screen captures, satisfaction surveys, general requests, feature requests, and inquiries. And then in Usersnap's dashboard, you can consolidate the feedback, and that helps you to make better product decisions and gain confidence in your new releases. So let me just find my mouse. That is, okay, great. So jumping into our topic of this webinar, why would you even bother collecting feature requests? So recent studies have actually shown that 1 in 26 customers complain when they encounter a bad experience, and the rest of the 25 out of 26, they just say nothing. So we don't want our customers to stay silent when there is a bad experience. And how do you get your customers to speak up? There is actually a very simple and beautiful solution, which is you can invite your customers, invite your users to give constructive suggestions. And feature request forms is a great way to do that. And we're speaking from experience because we have helped hundreds of customers in SaaS companies to set up feature request forms and then collect ideas. And this sort of feedback is a very special kind of feedback, a very actionable way of getting insights from your customers, and then you can use it directly to impact your MRR. And as this is a one-on-one course, we will be making it very simple for you, and you will get a 5-step feature request workflow that you can implement directly to what you're doing today, and then see how that helps you. So to just pave the road a bit more for Klaus, we always want to start with the pain points before we jump into a solution. So here are the 4 pain points that we have seen from SaaS companies that are building products, and also from our research and interviews. The first one is there are many decisions made in SaaS companies that are just from gut feelings of the founders, and they lack the perspectives and feedback from customers. The second is that you may get a lot of tickets, but then they're not very clear, and then you have to spend a lot of time doing follow-ups. And then sometimes customers don't respond, and then you're just left there hanging without an actionable answer. The third pain is biased feedback. So the sales teams and customer support teams, they're at the front lines and they get the most feedback. But when they translate that, or when they pass that along to the product team, the marketing team, it can have some colors of their own, let's just say. And then lastly, the pain is even when you have a lot of customer requests on your hands, what is the procedure to put those requests onto the product roadmap? How do you prioritize them, and whose responsibility it is? That can be quite a pain. So now Klaus will share the story of how we put customers at the heart of our product roadmap. And yeah, so hand over to you, Klaus.
Thanks, Ashley. Wonderful. So as you heard, we already heard how we collected from research and also from our customers, customer interviews, the pains that product managers in SaaS companies and software companies are facing, and also we on our own felt that way because we are a SaaS company, and so we are already 8 years into the market, and I don't want to tell you, that we did everything right from the beginning onwards. So it took us some time until we learned how to build our product roadmap and how we could put our customers at the center of it. And I will tell you about that. So, but first, how did we start? And this is how the first feature requests came in. So they came in via email, and we received these emails. And as you can see here, there's already kind of a solution, and you don't know actually what is the value, or what is the reason why this user needs this feature. So it's already kind of a bit interpreted by the person who is sending that. And then the emails were mixed on, or emails, it was coming from emails, and then we had some tools where we also collected feedback, because in the beginning we were not the customer feedback tool we are today. And when we collected all that from different sources, we put that into a spreadsheet, and then we try to prioritize it and manage it here. But this is kind of a bit lacking of the collaborative features that everyone can look into it and find the sources, where is it coming from, and why is it here, and what is the evidence. And so it's hard to collaborate here. And what do you do with freshly incoming feature requests? So it was pretty hard also for us. But then over the time and learning from a lot of our customers and from the whole process, we also transformed into a customer feedback solution. And by that, we also learned how to handle our feature requests. I'm sorry. So just have to put it away, sorry. Good. Yeah, so the recent years, we changed a lot, and we implemented a 5-step feature request flow and shared it also with hundreds of our customers that are SaaS companies. The first step was step 1, is how to make it easy to collect feature requests. Second is then we have a lot of feature requests coming in. We want to prioritize them, to manage them. So first we have to organize them. Then we prioritize them and can build a product roadmap. That's just step 3. Step 4 is we get feedback on the planned features. So from the roadmap, we took maybe the first 5 features and planning to build them in the next quarter, or in the next week, or in the next month, however you set up your process. And then before we kind of bring them into the building, into the factory to build them, we're getting feedback on the planned features. And when they're built, we communicate them. And we're also closing the loop. Maybe you have heard of this term, closing the loop. It's very important when you're listening to the voice of the customer. You should also come back to them when they send you something, so they become happy customers and hopefully ambassadors. But let's start first things first, how to make it easy to collect customer feedback requests, feature requests. And for that, I would love to jump into our software and show it to you in real life. So here you see Usersnap, and Usersnap here stands for any kind of digital product. And what we use is a feedback button. In this case, we even have 2, but this is only shown to internal users. We have a feedback button to request feedback from our users. And as you heard, the best ways, Ashley initially said it in the introduction, the best way is to ask for feedback. When users click on this feedback button, this feedback menu opens up. They have several ways of communicating with us. But one of these, and that's the one, what the topic of today is, any suggestions. So they have the possibility to, whenever it happens in their context that they're missing something, immediately they can file a feature request, and they learn it very easily and quickly. And that's a good thing, because that's a very fresh, experience, and they know everything why they need that. And it's not, taken, wrote down on a paper, and then later on sent via email, where you lose a lot of context. here you can click, a widget opens up, and we say, what are you missing? And in this case, I can say, I don't know, yeah, I'm maybe missing a search filter or something. And then there is a very important question, because often, and that's a normal reaction, is that you're sending in a solution. So you're already interpreting what you think that you need instead of kind of communicating what your issue is. And this is why the second question is so important. So what problem would that solve for you? And that gives you a second thought on the feature request and brings you from the solution back to what you want to be solved. And that helped us a lot to understand in depth why users or why customers are requesting something. Additionally, so a search filter for a person's name or email. Why do you need that? I filter for certain companies. And great thing here is you can also attach screenshots or screen recordings. So that helps the one who receives the feature request even to understand the context where this search, which search you are referring to, and then I can submit that easily. So that's the way how it works here. This is when a customer wants to request something. Then there are other situations where, for example, our customer success team or our sales team, they have a demo with a new prospect and they have needs which we cannot maybe fulfill. Sometimes it happens. And what they can do is they can use this is one way, our Chrome extension, and they don't have to send in an email because then it would land somewhere else and then it would not land in one storage, in one bucket. But they can use, for example, our browser extension and use a different project, and then this widget shows up. So they can even reference some website or some product that the customer named, and they can put it also in this request. And then it's the similar questions, which you already got, but here you would put the customer's email. Why do you put the customer's email here as a salesperson? Because when the feature is brought into the product, when it's live, you can come back to this customer and close the loop. And here, of course, we also have the internal person so that we know who submitted that and we can ask for further requests. Same goes here. So we have one other request here, for example, our integrations. I will come back to that later. But when you're missing an integration, we have this integrated form, and then you can click and you get an integration request, and you can specifically come back to the integrations. So that are three ways how we currently are collecting feedback, feature requests. And one last way, I have only a screenshot here, is our customer success team is using Intercom. I hope you know Intercom. It's a chat software that is specifically designed for customer success people. And whenever they come up with a customer is like chatting with them, and then they are also requesting something, they would have to, put it into Usersnap and to do this and that. And that's quite a lot of work for them. And they need quick answers because a lot of messages are coming in. And so we have an API. This is a direct developer interface where they can connect to Usersnap with various applications. So it does not, it's not only bound to Intercom. And our customer success, this is Intercom. They can easily, with a click on a button, submit the whole ticket they have in a totally different system into Usersnap. And that's great and helps us a lot to collect from various angles all the feature requests. Today we counted, and we have, in this year, we have around 600 features requests coming in from various ends. And that's great for us, because before that we had only a lot of separated emails, and it was hard to get that into one place. So now we have collected all these feedbacks, and we want to now organize it a bit. So how do we organize that? Let's go back to our, sorry, just a second. So, because I want to show you that live, if I'm able to. No, I'm not. So I have to go back here. So here you see, we are back in the Usersnap dashboard. So we have 5 projects that are around feature requests. We also have specific type for that. Usersnap is covering like various types from NPS, CSAT, bug reporting, etc. But this is a specific feature request type. And we have that in various projects. You can subscribe to them, and then via a feature which is called Inbox, you can look at them holistically on all of them at the same time, which is nice because you can filter them and see how often does a feature pop up, a feature request. But I will show it to you in our demo because we cannot reveal personal data here. So this is looking into one project, and I see here the list of feature requests in a project. And here I see one specific feature request coming in, and here I see a screenshot. So I totally understand what this user is requesting. It helps me a lot to understand the context. You even see here some hidden personal information, which we shouldn't see. There is the URL, so you always know where it's coming from. There is more data available. So who is the reporter? Where is it? Where is the screenshot sent from? My browser, my screen size, even like custom data that you might need for your application, and console log are all the JavaScript errors. We have the information here, and we can collaborate here with my team. So I can reference here also Ashley, and I can talk to her, and we can have a conversation within Usersnap, which is super helpful and adds a lot of value to these discussions. Mm-hmm. Apart from adding like attachments, etc., you can also label these requests, and that's a very important thing for grouping them together and see how often is a feature request popping up, and then you have evidence, and you see, the most often requested features are likely to be prioritized in your roadmap. Yeah. So I'm just putting here. Let's take just one API. Yeah. So in this case, this one gets the label API. I can also close it here and assign it to someone, or send it to another project. So there is the possibility to move it around or to send it to an integration. Integration could be Jira, Asana, DevOps, and so on. Asana, Azure DevOps, sorry, and other tools. And that helps you to collect. I can even search, and by searching, I can filter. So I see here as only the open ones, and then I can like filter API, label API. So I would see how many APIs issues do we have, and here we have only one. That's good. So we don't have a lot of API issues. Coming back to our presentation, we saw that the team can already collaborate in Usersnap, which is great. There is also a mobile app, so you can even do that instead of Instagramming before you go to sleep. You can kind of collaborate with your team colleagues. But some colleagues or stakeholders might not join, in Usersnap or don't have access to it. So you can even send feature requests or other customer feedback to Teams, to Slack, and other various chat tools or company chat tools. And there the collaboration can go on. And that's great because the voice of the customer gets exposed and you can share it in its purest form with your team colleagues. And that's important because, as we said initially, even co-founders and founders might kind of be opinionated on some things. And when they are telling things they heard from customers, they are already interpreted. And interpreted content is always a bit difficult because you might lose some important ends. And here you hear it in the purest form. So now we kind of organized our content in one tool, which is great. It's available cloud-based everywhere in the world, even via native apps for iOS or Android. Now we have to prioritize it. So prioritization is always hard, and we break down our requests into 3 categories. It's these new functionalities, which are always also brought in line with our vision, of course. Native integrations, we saw the integrations are important for Usersnap, and we have the product improvements. So there is like a way that many of our customers requested to have their feedback feature requests managed in other tools, in BI tools, business intelligence tools, in data tools, in kind of various tools. So we have integrations. You can kind of send it to Tableau. You can send it to Airtable. You can have it in a Google spreadsheet if you want, or you can send it to very advanced product roadmap tools like Product Board. That's all possible. So we, for example, currently are using our Airtable. So what we do is we are sending the request automatically to Airtable, and then we are kind of grouping them together, and we find the evidence we need to build the next feature requests. So this is important, and one thing I want to mention it because the question might arise, why is this not possible in Usersnap? So we are eating our own dog food. So we want to learn from the customers. We try it ourselves. And when we find it useful and we get some feedback on the planned features, then we bring it back into our product. But currently we feel like and it's a huge, it's a huge topic of how you handle, prioritize. There are so many different requests. So we are trying to find the best way how to handle and to group all the features. And when we found that, we will bring it in our product. So you get always the freshest stuff, probably every 2 weeks. Let's move on. We got our roadmap together. We prioritized it. We have, let's say, 5 features we want to build, but before we build them, we get some additional feedback from our customers. And how can you do that? Again, sorry. Again, here we have a product user board. So what you can do is you can share your projects to the outside world, and they're able to log in there to filter, but with a reduced functionality. And so it's easy for them to focus only on the essential things. And then you can either, sort it by votes. They can vote here. You see widget as a chatbot. So there are different features, and they can communicate and collaborate even here. So your customers can send you messages, like things, and you get additional valuable information and feedback on your feature requests. And then you can decide what should we build now. So I guess I gave you a good perspective here on how you can build your roadmap and then also build the features. And then we jump into step 5, and I hand over to my colleague, Ashley.
Yes, thank you. So yeah, like Klaus said, closing the loop is very important for your customers to know that their feature requests are being heard and then have been acted on. So if you can go to the next slide for me. Okay, great, I can do it too. So in Usersnap, you can reply to customers. And here is an example. So like Klaus said, on the second step, we always label our feature request. So when we see that a feature has come out, we can quickly filter by that label. And then we'll be able to reply to these customers to say, hey, congrats, we have this new feature that you can enjoy now. And then we close the loop by this way. And often when they know that their feedback has been heard, they become an ambassador for us. And we also promote the new features within our app. So we try to make it a habit for our customers. Like Klaus has shown you, we have a button for them to give us feedback. And we also have a native button for our product news. So all of those things that we're releasing, they can be found here. And then it's also becoming a habit for our customers to check out what is being released on a regular basis. And this is how it's being done right now. And then we still have one more step. So when we release a new feature, feedback is never finished. There is a cycle of continuous improvement when it comes to SaaS products. And that is very important for us as well. So we want to know if our customers are satisfied with this new feature or this new solution. And then we ask them, Klaus, do you want to do a quick demo of it, or?
Can do a very quick demo on that. So just to show you how it works. So let's assume this is your application and you built this new payment feature, which is a very simple one here, but we want to gather feedback after the user used this feedback. So when they submit this form, you see a widget is popping up. You can ask them, and the important question, why or what value does this bring to you? And this is how you can get feedback on used, on new features.
Mm-hmm. Right. So thanks. And then going to the next slide, we want to share our results.
Perfect. Right. So, yeah. First of all, we also started with a strategic focus, and we have a balanced 3-pillar approach for our roadmap. But then we realized we should bring the voice of the customer more into our roadmap building. And this is how we kind of increased the customer feedback and feature requests. And you see it increased from 26 to 54 on purpose, so it was intentionally, and we reduced the other ones. And by doing that, we saw that we are building the features that our customers requesting and new customers, and immediately our MRR grew by 30%, and that was a great feeling. And of course, we're continuing with new approaches, but this one really helped us, and we are keeping that since then. So we're listening to the voice of our customers and building the right products. Yeah, so I want to come back to initially the pains of the SaaS companies. And so first of all, we said that their decisions are like gut feeling. And here, when you build in such a feature request flow, the decisions are driven by customer feedback. So that's the first thing where I get customer centric. You have precise requests, and that saves you time in the follow-ups. Additionally, you have direct feature requests. So the sales and customer success can immediately share them in the same way, and also share them when they're very fresh. So there is less bias and you can even control or move or steer it a bit by what questions you are asking them and what fields in the questionnaire you are asking. And then last but not least, for your product roadmap, you have a clear process and you build product with confidence. So we're almost at the end, because we said 30, we're a bit over time. I hope you have a few more minutes. So this is the Q&A section. Whenever we can make your questions, sorry for that, but no problem. We can have a one-on-one consulting call. So my colleagues and I are happy to have that with you. So let's jump into some questions that we got.
Yeah, we got 4 very good questions. I'll read them out loud. The first one is, when it comes to getting feedback or planned features, how do you know if your approach is on the right track or wrong track?
Okay, when we come back to our outcomes, I would say you see that first in the, hopefully in your revenue. The second would be, we're also like using not only qualitative feedback, but also quantitative, which are product analytics tools. So you would see on the one hand that you see a higher usage on the new features. And additionally, you can ask, as you saw before, qualitative feedback after you build in some product, some new features, and ask the customers directly if this is fulfilling their needs, or you come back to the ones who requested that. I think with that, you can measure if this is if you are on the right track.
Yes, I would totally say you answered really well. And second question, in your experience, did you see that having a feature request button increased the amount that you receive?
So yeah, I mean, Ashley and I shared the number. So we have around 600 feature requests per year. And in the beginning, it was a bit slower. And so to answer the question, I would say yes, Ashley. I don't know if you have a different opinion, but from the 600, that's way beyond what we had before. I think more of the 26 customers that are normally silent, or 25, they spoke out, and that's great, because you hear it and you can act on it. You can even say, no, we won't build it. So yes, it increases. It is an easy approach that's important. Because if it's a complex form, it reduces, every field reduces, the probability that it's finished and submitted. So I would say, yes, the button helps you immensely. And building habits, Ashley, you already mentioned it. Building habits is great.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to add. So you said it for me. And actually, you also talked a little bit about this next question, which is, so how do you answer your users when they request something that you won't deliver in the near future? Or if you're going to refuse their request, are you kind of afraid of scaring them?
Maybe I'll let you first, Ashley.
So it's very important to be transparent with your users. And the thing is, with requests, we always ask why. What is the problem behind it? And sometimes we come up with a solution that can help with their problem that is not directly about their like the feature that they suggested. So answering that to your customers, your users, is very important. And just being transparent about where your product is heading also really helps them to get a perspective of what you're doing. And yeah, we never had a customer to say that we hate that you're telling us the truth.
Perfect. Yes, absolutely right.
Okay, then let's move to the fourth question, which is, as a small startup, we don't have enough requests. Should we come up with feature requests ourselves and ask customers what they think about them? Or should we give them a blank canvas?
That's a good question, and it's hard to tell you what you should do. But in general, I would first offer the possibility to give you feedback, no matter what. So kind of what I understood, the blank canvas on the one hand, so they can share things. Because if you ask, you're always kind of biased, and if you say, should we move in this direction, some customers might even out of politeness say yes. So that could lead you in the wrong direction. But in general, you know, if it's hard in the beginning to get even feedback, you could invite them, but I would rather, you know, go first then with interviews if you're very unclear on your current direction. We have also a widget for that, how you can ask for user interviews, and go into that and have open questions. I think that helps you in the beginning more than your gut feeling and coming and kind of biased approaching them and asking them on your what you say. Yeah, that would be my approach here.
I think we have some customers with similar problems, and they requested to have a poll option where they can give their users some options to choose from rather than a blank canvas. And that is a feature that is going to come out on Usersnap very soon.
Perfect words.
Last one, let's power through. So do you recommend using Usersnap for the internal discussions regarding certain feature requests, or passing the request to Slack and having discussions over there?
Yeah, so what we saw is in the beginning, we passed everything to Slack. But then, of course, sometimes it would have been nice to also have this conversation directly with the feature request, and we were missing the link there. But we saw the more options they had, like with the mobile app and easily accessing the application, the more we got the users also with kind of forming the habits, because they can click from Slack back into the Usersnap dashboard, and then the conversation started to getting more and more on the feedback item directly than outside of Slack. But Slack is and Microsoft Teams is very important because they keep also the stakeholders that are not so directly in the application also in the loop, and they see what's going on and what's requested. So I think that's always important, and you could do both. So there is no kind of recommendation, but I think both of that is helpful. Purpose.
Yeah. I think both are quite easy, and you can try it by yourself and see which one works best for your team.
Absolutely. So then I would say thanks a lot. We're a few minutes over. I hope that's okay for you. We're also recording that, so whenever you missed something or you want to share it with your colleagues, you can go to the website, just register, and you get the recording there, or we send it out to everyone here. And last but not least, if you, as I said, we offering free consultation calls, just send me an email and I'm happy to talk to you, or my team is also here. And yeah, thanks a lot. Have a wonderful day.
Yeah, thank you everyone. And thanks, Klaus. So we also got a thank you from a French person, perhaps. Merci beaucoup.
De rien. So have a wonderful evening and see you soon. Bye-bye.
Bye.